Welcome to Waking Up with Melissa, a podcast that takes a deep dive into personal development, spirituality, and how to grow your online business. I'm your host, Melissa Ruiz, a spiritual and mindset business coach for all conscious healers out there. Stay tuned every week while I share insights on how to balance your business and also stay in alignment with your higher self. I truly believe that we all uniquely possess all of the things that we're seeking if we simply allow ourselves to surrender, to be present, and to take action in our lives. Welcome back to another solo podcast on Waking Up with Melissa. Today, I'm going to dive deep into this concept that we were sold around what is freedom, what is wealth, and what is abundance. Let's dive right in. I have so much to share with you humans. And the first thing I want to share is that we have indeed been sold this idea, this concept that freedom is attached to money. Like, who the hell invented this? That freedom is attached to the things that we acquire. To me, I don't know about you, but my definition of freedom is doing what I want, when I want, how I want it. And honestly, that's also including my business. The worst nightmare for me is to feel chained to anything because I am on the path of liberation. And so I wanted to record this specific episode because so many people are having to have these deeper conversations around money. Yes, humans, we have to stop feeling bad, especially as women, especially as a human race that needs to stand in their power. Here are just a few things that I have found that through my journey of alchemizing this poverty consciousness was a game changer. One of the things that I quickly started to find out as I journeyed into acquiring and attracting wealth was that it was not about getting money. It wasn't about getting anything, actually. In fact, this might surprise you because the more I followed the momentum, the more I followed my joy, the more I started to ask myself, what actually really makes me happy? The more the wealth and the attraction of opportunity actually started to make its way to me. And this is where this concept of getting in the vibrational essence of the outcome actually came, because I realized that I too was sold this idea, this construct that I'm going to be free when I get a house or when I get married. And I quickly realized that as I started to acquire all these things, it actually made me feel really tied down. And it wasn't until I let go of each one of those weights that I actually felt free. In fact, the more things I acquired, the more I felt like I couldn't breathe. And so I wanted to have this deeper conversation with you guys because have we been still believing in this idea that freedom comes with this attachment of needing to get something? Because what I have found, it's that we don't actually have to get anything. That freedom is about harnessing our inner knowing, our power. And here's the thing, here's what's actually changing. We're moving into this new era where truth over time is actually the new currency. Yes, currency will always be energy, but we are moving into this abundant era where in this 5D consciousness, we're going to be activating time. Time is not going to be this thing that we have to play around with because guess what? As long as you honor and activate your truth, you are going to get bigger than time. You're going to get bigger than the space and the time that we are in. And that is actually how I found out that we can collapse time. I started to realize that the more I started to play in the realm of possibility, and this is where actually you've heard me say this a lot, this game came to be, this what if game. What if it does work out? What if I am on track? What if there are no wrong choices? What if there's this illusion of I'm making the wrong turn? Maybe there is no turn. Maybe I am exactly where I need to be. This next part is really important because this is about leveling up your avatar. And your avatar is you, human. You are the avatar, you are the human, okay? So this is about reprogramming yourself. Once I realized that there was this construct that I was believing in, and I simply told myself, I am consciously deciding that that is not what success means to me. Success doesn't mean that I build a 7-figure business. Success to me is waking up every single day, feet on the ground, opening up the blinds and feeling blessed and feeling grateful and feeling comfortable in my own skin, feeling wealthy in my relationships, in my health. That is actually what abundance was and still is. Abundance is a frequency, but guess what? You have to upgrade your human. You have to upgrade this meat suit that you're in. If you do the same thing every single day, and I've learned this actually going to the Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat, and I keep referencing back to so much of the teachings that I've learned from him because when I heard him speak, I was like, oh my gosh, I did this. I actually didn't know I was doing this. I didn't know I was upgrading my avatar, but he taught us that humans have the same thoughts. Basically, every single day, we have these repeating thoughts, and the next day, we carry those thoughts with us. And so, if you still have these limiting beliefs around money, around wealth, and these fantasy illusions of what freedom is, then it's going to be really hard for you to change unless you change everything about yourself. And so, for me, that meant changing my inner circle. That meant upgrading my beliefs. And guess what? Yes, in the beginning, it is difficult. But everything for me that has been worth it has come from work. It has come from consciously deciding how I was operating and how I wanted to operate. And just like a science project, I started to realize that there were some missing gaps. That if I was the version of me that wanted to activate and acclimate to wealth, that I needed to start to act like it. I needed to start to think like it. I needed to quite literally die. I needed to become a new human and I needed to upgrade my avatar. And you say, a lot of y'all, I'm so sorry, humans, but I'm just letting y'all know a lot of you are trying to become someone new with your old beliefs. And that's just not possible. I actually started to unlock the key to freedom when I realized what my soul contract was. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but you cannot buy this on a course. You cannot get this at a free webinar. This is going to require you actually taking the journey, humans. To understand your soul contracts is what I love to explain to my students of knowing what your soul blueprint came here to do. And if you don't understand what your purpose is, that's completely fine. But in order for you to figure it out, you have to be willing to play the game. You have to be willing to fail. You have to alchemize this perceived failure. You have to stop needing to get it right. Do you know how many people I talk to and they are so afraid? They're so afraid to get in the ring. I love this Brene Brown analogy where she talks about getting in the arena. And she talks about understanding whether you are a spectator sitting on the bleachers watching your game of life and not getting in, or are you the person inside of the arena getting beaten up, bloody, scarred, but you continue to get up? In order for you to understand your soul's journey, you have to go on the hero's journey. You have to try a bunch of different things. You have to not be afraid. And one of the things that gave me so much freedom as I started to journey in was understanding that I needed to alchemize this perceived failure. And so I am going to offer this mantra to you. There's no such thing as failure. The only thing that's failure to me is if I don't try. All right, humans, this next part is all about understanding your own personal power. This is about activating your third eye. In order for us to understand our soul contracts, we have to get to a place where we're activating our intuition. We have to turn the eye within, that inner eye, not the eyes that are attached to your head, the eyes of the soul. This is the third eye. And a lot of people say it's sitting right in between the eyes, but it's not. It's actually sitting way beyond in the back of the brain. And this is why mindfulness, meditation, these can all activate that gland and really start to give us that vision of what is my soul's purpose supposed to be here on earth. If you want to skip all of the mindfulness, the yoga, the meditation, that's fine. You absolutely don't have to do that. But then that means you have to put yourself in position. And I know this is going to sound a little harsh, but humans, you got to stop making excuses. This is about upgrading your avatar. And within that construct, you have to get to a place where you stop making excuses and you start to get into aligned action. You start to ask yourself, okay, if I want to operate as this millionaire version of me, if I want to activate this healed version of me, how does that person walk? Who are they speaking to? What are their daily activities? I know this is going to sound crazy, but I changed my diet. When I started to tune into the most optimal version of me, I'm talking about the person that is operating at peak performance. I started to realize, I'm like, oh, she's a bad bitch. She's the one that is getting up early to meditate. She is the one that's getting up and going to the gym, even on the days that she feels sad or that she doesn't want to go or that she can make up a bunch of different excuses. You see, I learned that being around wealthy people, they do the hard things now so that they can have an easy life later. And that's part of this poverty consciousness as well, that a lot of us have it backwards. We want to do the easy thing now, but guess what? You're going to have a hard life later. Let's get back to this concept of what were you fed? This idea of freedom. I see so many of us in 2024 chasing this. And a lot of us have been bamboozled into thinking that freedom is blowing up my TikTok. Freedom is having a lot of followers. And then I have so many clients that have blown up on social media. And I cannot tell you the amount of debilitating fear that they have keeping up. That is not freedom to me. Freedom is understanding what you're supposed to do, what is your contribution to the planet, and following that excitement and that momentum and that joy. There's so much that I have to be grateful for because as I continue to show up on social media, content, within my clients, the quality of my work continues to expand. Humans, we have to get to a place where you're okay being exactly where you are. We have to get to a place where we stop pretending. You stopped acting. You stop acting as this perfection, as this illusion, this persona that you want people to see you as. No matter how much money you have, no matter how many things you acquire, no matter how much you blow up your social media, that will never equate to freedom. Quickly interrupting this podcast to introduce Divine Dollars, our new newsletter on how to increase your energetic capacity to 10x your cash flow. This is my exclusive hot take newsletter where each week I'll be dropping juicy AF insight, insane value on how to grow a profitable, sustainable soul-led business. Each week I'm dropping a hot take on leading industry topics, plus a roundup of my latest YouTube and podcast episodes. Sign up to be the first to know about my upcoming offers and bonuses too. You see, in my world, energy is the new currency to align with so you can double your income and cultivate conscious coins. Get the latest drop each week by subscribing to my newsletter so you can become a better human and in turn become a better CEO. Now let's go on and let's talk about this illusion of abundance. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite things to talk about. And I love to talk about it because it puts me right back into remembering the version of me that was living in the tiny home with very little money in my bank account. And yet I touched the place of soul richness. Yet every single day, as I was, yes, alchemizing a lot of trauma, a lot of things that were coming up for me, the more I did it, the more I touched the richness within me. And I started to realize, oh, shoot, abundance isn't what's in my bank account. Actually, if I can get bigger than the energy of what's in my bank account, then by law of attraction, I'm going to have to attract wealth into my life. And I love this version of me that at that time, that was purpose. There was no plan. There was no plan to create a business. There was no plan to make money. I wasn't chasing anything. In fact, if I was chasing anything, it was happiness. And I always share this with you guys that I'm a happiness dealer. I was looking for that. I was looking for the answers of how do I become the most optimal version of me? How do I become happy? What are the steps that I have to take? I studied with so many people, whether it was through courses, through mentorship, whether it was going to another country, because I wanted to understand what were the codes that they knew? How was it that they were activating their prosperity? And the more I talked to people, and the more I actually realized this for myself as well, is that none of those people were waking up for a dollar. Those people were waking up every single day to fulfill like an order. It was to fulfill their soul contract, their purpose. And because they were fulfilling that, the wealth, the abundance came in. What's wealth though? Let's get to that part. I love to talk about money. So many people follow because actually I put a poll up on stories yesterday and I was letting y'all know I'm about to record Waking Up with Melissa in the studio with, oh my gosh, congratulations, Waking Up with Melissa. I'm so excited to level that up. But even within that, can I tell you something? I also had to up-level my own mindset. I also had to realize all of the ways that I was keeping myself small. How? Coming up with excuses. Telling myself that I will do it when I get a mic, when I get more organized, when I have more time. And all of those things are just things that keep us trapped in what? Perfectionism. My invitation for all of us as we start to really think about what freedom means to us, what abundance means to us, is really for us to start to ask ourselves, what makes me feel alive? Just the thought of being here and recording this made me feel alive. It made me feel excited. What are the things that excite you? Because if you can bring that in, if you can harness that in, no matter what you have in your bank account, no matter what your surroundings look like, and yes, I know, your environment is so important. But guess what? I learned how to get into a different environment in my mind. I actually learned that if I traveled within my mind to paradise, whatever that meant, my mind and my body couldn't actually tell the difference. I started to realize that I can actually bamboozle and trick my body into thinking I was rich just by feeling it. One of the greatest lessons that I've learned along my journey was not thinking my way to success. It was not thinking my way into being rich or into activating abundance. It wasn't in reciting some dumb ass mantras or affirmations in the mirror until I believed it. Yes, that worked. Of course, it works. But the thing that actually helped me really understand that is that I can rewrite my programs. The thing that actually activated the biggest change was when I stopped making this separation between I have to get to this future state in order to feel whole and complete. Shoot, I told myself, what if I'm whole and complete right now? What if everything is perfect right now? What if I don't have to change anything? What would happen next? And what happened next was my emotional body started to light up like a Christmas tree. And you see, that's actually what attracts everything to you. It's not you needing to do more force and more work and more things and more TikToks and more videos and more collaborations and more. No. It was about in activating your truth. It was in understanding, who are you? Who are you, human? I started to realize I am a speckle. I am a piece, a fractal of God. I am connected to the totality of the whole entire universe. I am the entire universe. You are the entire universe. The universe is not separate from you. This money, this abundance, this freedom, these things are not separate from you. And the more I started to realize I am that, and the more I started to walk in that truth, the more life actually, just like a video game, the things started to appear. We're moving into a new era, humans. In 2024, abundance, energy, and truth are going to be the new dollar bill, y'all. It's not going to be how many zeros you have in your bank account, but it's going to be peace over profit. It's going to be how alive you feel, how electric you're being, how happy, how excited, how in alignment you are. These are going to be the things that actually people care about. People are not going to care about how many times you post or how beautiful your videos are. They're going to be paying attention to the quality of your words, and they're going to see if the resonance of that energy is landing within them. Here's how we're going to end this, humans. I know this is going to be a little sharp. I know this is going to feel like, oh my God, you're attacking me, Melissa, but you have to stop feeling bad for wanting things. You have to stop feeling bad around money. Can we just like pause real quick? Just real quick, ask yourself, where did you learn how to beat yourself up for wanting? Where did you learn how to stay small? Why do we feel bad for desiring to want wealth? Why is this ick? Why does money make you feel weird? I can't tell you how many times I talk to clients and they tell me, Melissa, I want to build my business, but I don't want to sell my soul on the internet and I don't want to feel weird around money. And I just kind of want to shake them like, who made you feel like this? But I also know the answer. Capitalistic beliefs. We're made to believe that if you want money, if you desire to want nice things, you're greedy. And how dare you, human? How dare you want more? How dare you want more knowing that people are suffering? How dare you want more knowing that there's poverty? How dare you want more knowing that there's tragedy happening in life? Because really, the narrative and the underbelly to that is become a good employee. Because when you're a good employee, you're a minion, you're a soldier. You stay in line, but guess what? There is a cap to your wealth. And I don't know about you, but I am here to live my most optimal, most expanded timeline ever. I want no cap on my life. I want no cap on my earnings. I want no cap on my potential. If there's a cap, it's because I put it there. And guess what? If I'm the problem, that means I'm the solution. Humans, I am so super thankful and excited that you were tuning into our very first podcast that we are recording in a beautiful studio, live in the flesh. Thank you so much for being part of this tribe, of this beautiful family. If you've liked this episode, screenshot it, post it on social, tag me at I am Melissa Ruiz. And we also have our new newsletter. Guess what the name is? It's called Divine Dollars. Every single week, humans, I am going to be debunking these myths around money and how we can upgrade our avatar to really be attuning to the frequency and energy of abundance. Go to my website, go check it out. Go to my Instagram, DM me, go to the link in the bio. All right, humans, go with peace, go with God. See you soon.
Breathe.